In this video, we're going to talk about sales sequences, and sales sequences in HubSpot are a great way to automate your sales outreach. We will look at what are sequences and how they are different from automations. Also, what is the goal of a sequence? The example use cases for a sequence. I'll also guide you through a first setup of a sales sequence, and then also how you can analyze your sales sequence performance. So let's dive right in. When we go to the left sidebar here, the main menu, and we go to automations, here we have the option between workflows and sequences. And so today we're going to talk about sequences. Now, sequences are different from workflows in the sense that they are really focused on contact outreach. They're really personal, so any email sent out will be sent out through the linked email address for the user that initiates the sequence. Also, like opposed to automations, the sequence has a very specific goal, and that is to start a one-on-one conversation with the contact that you enroll in the sequence, which means that as soon as somebody either responds to an email within the sequence or they book a meeting, they schedule a meeting through a link that's part of an email in the sequence, they will automatically be unenrolled from that sequence. So that being said, let's have a look here. Already for some example use cases, you can see one here, and that's event follow-up. So for example, you went to a trade fair somewhere and you want to follow up with everyone you saw at that trade fair. You gathered that data and you want to send all of them an email and try to book some meetings afterwards. An event follow-up sequence is perfect for that. Another example is prospecting. So for example, you have a list of customers that bought in the past and you want to prospect again to see if there are new opportunities there. You can use a prospecting sequence to reach out to those people and start a conversation again. Another one is follow-up after a recent conversion. So for example, one of the things that I have on my website is a HubSpot automations guide. Whenever somebody downloads that guide, I could run a sequence to follow up with those people and again start that one-on-one conversation. So let's click on create a sequence here. And then you can see that there are basically two options now. This is fairly new. As you can see, it still has the new tag here. So first of all, we have a dynamic sequence, and then we have the regular sequence, or here it just says start from scratch. The difference between these two is that the regular sequence just goes through the steps until the sequence ends. So it's like one specific sequence with different steps and chronological order. For the dynamic sequence, you basically get two separate sequences. One of them is fully automated and the other one is manual. So this one, as it says here at the top, it really focuses on improving that efficiency for sales reps because your contacts will receive those automated emails, and until they take certain actions with those emails, they will just keep getting those automated emails. And then when they take the necessary actions, we will go into the manual tasks. For this specific video, I'll go into the dynamic sequence since that's the newest one. So I think most of the people want to learn how this one works. So we'll create new dynamic sequence. And then you can see we start with configuring an initial step. The only option we have here is an automated email because we are in the automated part. So I have a bunch of emails here. So these are all of the templates that you have in your account. If you don't have any templates yet, you can click on create a template here and create a template for you. ChatGPT is really great in creating these templates. I'll probably do a video about that soon. But for now, I'll just work with the ones that I have here. So let's say we're following up after a recent conversion and I want to start with email number 1 here. You can see what the email says. So for example, I saw you downloaded content X from our website. I was curious what you thought about it. And then we can continue building this out. So this part is the automated outreach and we can go for the next one. And then whenever we add a next automated email, we do have the choice to either basically send it as a reply to the previous email that we sent, or we can just start a new thread and well, that will do exactly what it says. So let's do it as a reply here so that it stays as one email chain, and then we'll do the recent conversion email number 2. Now here you can see these don't really make sense in a consecutive order here, since this assumes that I just try to call them, which is for the original sequences, you can build those steps in between, but just ignore that fact for now. Then for each of these emails, we can say how long of a delay we want between these emails. So let's say we want 3 days here. And then let's add one more. We will do email number 3. And now we can work on the next part. So these emails will just be sent out. I'll put this one 3 days apart as well. So these will just be sent out in order when somebody gets enrolled. And then we use some signals to switch to rep-led outreach. So that's the manual outreach. So here right now it's set when there's 2 email opens or there's 1 click in an email, they will go to the dynamic follow-up, so the rep-led outreach. And for now, I think we can probably leave it like that. Let's say 2 clicks. Yeah, so let's make it 2 clicks and 3 opens. And then we can choose what happens when we receive those signals. So here we have a couple more options. So we have a manual email task, which means that the sales rep that started the sequence will get a reminder that he needs to send an email to this contact. And we can still link a template here to make it a little bit easier. So for example, we can make this one, let's just do recent conversion number 3 here. Here you can see the task that will be assigned. So send follow-up email, and then you can also add some personalization in here so that the task name itself already makes it clear who this is for. We can set a priority. We can add this to a separate queue if we want. Can add this step here. Then next, let's say we want to call this person. So call the contact to follow up. And then while we're setting these up, you can also see that at the top here, pause sequence until task is completed. So specifically for these manual tasks, it's important that we wait until the task is completed before we go on to the next one. So here we can also set these delays, as you can see. So we send out this manual email. And then 1 day later, we'll try to give them a call. And then maybe the day after that, we'll send them another email. Maybe we want to make that 2 days. And that's our sequence here. And then at the top, you can see we have 3 automated steps. The total sequence would take 10 days to completion. We have 3 manual steps here, which are the ones on the right side. And then we also have 2 unroll criteria. And as you can see here, the unroll criteria are if this person replies to an email or if they book a meeting with scheduling link, as I said before. Then when we look at the settings here, we can choose to execute these steps on business days only. And we can also choose a automated send window. Now, this is the send window in which those emails will be sent, but the specific time is actually chosen by HubSpot through their AI, and they will choose the times with the highest open rate in that time range. So that's a pretty cool feature here as well. Then for the email reminders, you can choose if you want to receive an email for any reminder that we choose. And then we can also add this to a marketing campaign if we want. So if it's part of a campaign, we can add that here as well. And then for the automate part, so this is when the sequence gets turned off or when somebody gets enrolled from the sequence better. And then here you see that we can also check that we unenroll all contacts at the same company if one of the contacts replies to an email or books a meeting. So if that's relevant, you can activate that here as well. Then once a sequence like this is running, so let's save this one. I'll just call this my first dynamic sequence for. And then once we have set this up and we start using this sequence, you will also be able to see the performance for the sequence as well. So for example, well, there's no data here because we just created it. But as you can see, you can filter this dashboard or performance dashboard based on who enrolled people, or also based on the status as well. The insights we get here is people we have enrolled, who have opened emails, clicked on emails, replied to emails, booked meetings, deals that get created from this sequence, and also deals that have been closed like from leads that went through the sequence as well. You can see the lead quality here. So we get the bounce rate, we get an unsubscribe rate, we get the amount of leads that we reached, and then the engagement rate for the leads that engaged. There was no engagement or there was no response. And then for each of these emails, we get the same statistics here. So for example, if you see that one of these emails in particular is doing worse than the others, then that might be a good indicator to go in and optimize that specific email. You can switch for these performance, like you can switch to rates and counts based on if you want to see the absolute numbers or the relative numbers. I hope this video was helpful. If it was, I think you would really like my video about HubSpot's new sales workspace. I'll link that one right up here. And until the next video with more HubSpot excellence. Bye.